UFC Saudi Arabia is this weekend, and in the main event, we have Israel Adesanya, former middleweight champion, ranked second in the middleweight division, taking on Nassourdine Imavov, ranked fifth in the middleweight division. And I'm going to be straight up with you right now. I don't think Nassourdine Imavov is that good. I just don't think he's that good. I'm going to be straight up. We can look at Israel Adesanya and say, yes, he has clearly been on a decline since he was champion, right? Got steamrolled by DDP and choked out in the fourth round. Got steamrolled by Sean Strickland. Unanimous decision win for Sean Strickland. But he did knock out Alex Pereira. And then in the fight before that, Alex Pereira knocked out Izzy, right? So in the past 5 fights, Israel Adesanya has won 2. I get that. I get that you can look at Israel Adesanya and say, well, in his last 2 fights, he didn't really look that impressive. He didn't really do anything against DDP. He didn't really do anything where you're like, oh my God, the champion Israel Adesanya is back. Like, he looks good. And then when you look at the Sean Strickland fight, obviously he didn't look good. He had 1 good round, and that was about it. He didn't really do anything else. So I can understand when you look at Imavov and you're like, oh, he's a rising contender. He has good wins against Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, Edmund Shabazian, Roman Dolidze. I get that. You can say that. But when you look at Nassourdine Imavov's wins, they're not that impressive. And it almost seems like Israel Adesanya looks better when he's losing, or when he was losing against DDP and Sean Strickland, than when Nassourdine Imavov looked when he was winning against Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, Roman Dolidze, right? And that's hard to say because Nassourdine Imavov, he is a pretty good striker, right? He's a dirty boxing striker, I guess you could say. He definitely strikes in close range. He's not a singular shot striker like Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya, he's this long-range kickboxing fighter, right? He throws a lot of calf kicks, a lot of leg kicks. He's keeping a long-reach guard out there, a long guard. He's throwing jabs. He's a singular shot striker. He's not throwing a ton of combinations. He's not really that aggressive. He's more of a counter fighter than a aggressor, right? And when you look at Imavov, he's more of a close-range striker. He throws a lot of combinations. He implements a lot of clinch game, throws a lot of knees, and he's kind of looking for the takedown. Although he's not a wrestler, but he's kind of always looking for those situations, right? When you look at Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, and Roman Dolidze, and Edmund Shabazian, in every single one of those fights, he had a takedown, and he was doing some, ground and pound. Anyway, when you look at this fight, and you look at the styles, Nassourdine Imavov, when he's the hammer, he's a good hammer. But when he's the nail, he is a bad nail. When Nassourdine Imavov is getting pushed back and he has to counterfight, he doesn't look that good. He can't put anything out. And it always looks like after the first round, Nassourdine Imavov always looks tired. Even when he knocked out Jared Cannonier, he looked exhausted in that fourth round. And when we look at the wins of Nassourdine Imavov, I'm not that impressed. I am not that impressed. Let's go back and look at the Brendan Allen fight. In the first round, Brendan Allen easily took down Nassourdine Imavov. Nothing really happened in that first round, but Brendan Allen won it because he had control. Go to the second round. Nassourdine Imavov defended some takedowns, actually took down Brendan Allen, and looked kind of good doing some ground and pound. But other than that, he didn't really do anything impressive. He had some good body shots, landed some good combinations, but there was no moment where Brendan Allen was rocked, right? Go to the third round. We spent a lot of time where there was a clinch game between Nassourdine Imavov and Brendan Allen. Imavov was in control for about 3 minutes. It went on the feet, and then there was some back and forth combinations. And you could argue that Brendan Allen actually won that third round. I don't think he did, but you could argue that. So he beat Brendan Allen, unanimous decision. Wasn't that impressive. Go back to the fight before that, Jared Cannonier and Imavov. The stoppage, the fourth round, Imavov landed a good right hand, and it wobbled Cannonier. And then all of a sudden, the ref wants to step in and be like, oh my God, Cannonier's rocked, even though he wasn't, and they stopped the fight. I had Imavov winning 2 out of 4 of those rounds. I had Jared Cannonier winning the other 2. He didn't really look that good against Jared Cannonier. He didn't really do much against Jared Cannonier, right? Like, he landed some good combinations, and there was a couple of shots where you're like, oh, okay, he landed a good right hand, but, like, there wasn't anything where he was, like, piecing up Jared Cannonier. He got inside, he got hit a couple of times, and then dirty box and won some combinations. Even the right hook that dropped Cannonier, it was a dirty boxing exchange. Jared Cannonier threw a 1-2 left hook or something. He was diving in with combinations. And Imavov literally shelled up, threw a right hook going to the body. It was a good combination, but it wasn't oh my God, he just outclassed Cannonier. And then when you go to the fight before that, Roman Dolidze, and I don't think Roman Dolidze is anywhere close to the skill level of Israel Adesanya, he took down Roman Dolidze, had some ground and pound, and messed him up. I mean, yeah, he landed 112 significant strikes on the feet, but Roman Dolidze has no striking at all. No striking at all. He's just a grappler. So when you look at the wins of Nassourdine Imavov, and he's ranked 5th in the division, it's hard to confidently say he can beat Israel Adesanya because of XYZ. How will he beat Israel Adesanya? Is he going to beat him on the feet? He's going to close the distance and just dirty box with Israel Adesanya. He's going to be able to go 5 rounds and aggressively push and strike against Israel Adesanya. I don't think it's happening. I just don't see it happening. When Israel Adesanya is counterfighting, he's a lot better against fighters that kind of just push forward and can't really cut angles that well, rather than someone who can also counterfight, right? When you look at DDP and Israel Adesanya, DDP can wrestle, he has power, he's explosive, so he's unpredictable, right? When you look at Sean Strickland is just aggressively moving forward, that weird Philly shell. Also short notice fight against Israel Adesanya, 5 weeks, let's also keep that in mind, right? But Sean Strickland just was a hardcore aggressor, throwing the teeps a lot, and beat Israel Adesanya. And I think that was a bad night and off night for Israel Adesanya, if we had to be honest. When you look at Nassourdine Imavov, he's not a counter striker. He's not constantly switching stances. He's not doing anything where you're looking at him in the striking department thinking he's this good. He's just not. And that is why I have Israel Adesanya beating Imavov. If Imavov wants to win, his only chance is going for takedowns and trying to implement a lot of clinch game and grappling against Israel Adesanya. If this is all on the feet, which I'm sure this is how it's going to turn out, I think Israel Adesanya is going to piece up Nassourdine Imavov on the feet. There's nothing that Imavov does that impresses me. He doesn't really have power. He dirty boxes. He doesn't really have that technical of striking, so it's just not that impressive for me or confidently. I'm not really confident in saying Imavov has any chance against Israel Adesanya. I just can't say that. I think Israel Adesanya, yes, he's been on decline, and he's not that good. But when you look at the fighters that he's been losing to, they've all been champions. Alex Pereira, champion. Sean Strickland, champion. DDP, champion. It's not like Israel Adesanya is losing to a guy like Roman Dolidze or Chris Curtis or something, right? Let's not forget Chris Curtis and Nassourdine Imavov was a no contest because of a headbutt. So it's just Nassourdine Imavov, he's ranked 5th in the division because he's fought in the middle class of the middleweight division and he's gotten himself to the 5th rank spot, but he's not really deserved of that position, if that makes sense. I think Israel Adesanya outclasses Nassourdine Imavov. I would be willing to bet the first 2 rounds are pretty slow and there's just a lot of leg kicks. And then in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, Imavov's going to feel pressure. He's going to be tired and he's going to start just rushing in, trying to get clinch game. You're going to see a lot of clinch work against the fence, and you'll see Israel Adesanya, hit some switches, throw a lot of knees, and you might see a knockout by Israel Adesanya because he looks slimmer. We're seeing a slimmer Izzy, like the former come-up Izzy. So I would love to see a knockout. I think it's going to be a decision. I would maybe give 1 round to Nassourdine Imavov. Maybe he takes Israel Adesanya down in the 2nd round and holds him there. But other than that, I don't see Nassourdine Imavov doing anything to Israel Adesanya. I think Israel Adesanya, he's cleaner on the feet. He's more technical, and he's able to pace himself. I don't think Nassourdine Imavov, if he fights and beats Israel Adesanya and he looks impressive, definitely he's next for the title shot. But if he can't do anything, it just proves my point. He's like a Brendan Allen. I love Brendan Allen, but he ain't beating no Israel Adesanya, man. He's a middle-class middleweight fighter, right? He's going to beat some sorry guys, Joaquin Buckley, Ian Heinage, Roman Dolidze, Jared Cannonier, but he ain't beating DDP, Sean Strickland, Kai Barallo, Israel Adesanya. I just don't see it happening. Israel Adesanya is beating Nassourdine Imavov decision win. And I think this might be the start of Israel Adesanya's way back to the title picture. After this fight, I want to see Kai Barallo and Israel Adesanya fight. That's the fight to fucking make. Everybody wants to see that fight. Make that fight. Izzy versus Kai if he beats Nassourdine Imavov. If Nassourdine Imavov somehow beats Israel Adesanya, I don't see it happening. But if he does, give Imavov a title shot next. Or actually let him wait behind Khamzat Chimaev, then let him fight for the title. Or run the loser of Sean Strickland and... Well, Sean Strickland has already beaten Nassourdine Imavov. So if DDP loses against Sean Strickland, do DDP versus Imavov. If Sean Strickland loses, do Sean Strickland versus Imavov 2. Sell that fight. That is my breakdown and prediction for Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. Be sure to like, comment who you think will win, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.